The Russians saw that we are not speaking Russian. They took off.
All right, good evening, dear viewers. You're welcome to another exciting episode on Pastoring Without Tears. My name is Anu Ojo, and I want to welcome you all to our Facebook viewers and our YouTube viewers. You are very much welcome. Please, as you join today's show, we're going to have a wonderful time, and I want you to please go ahead and share the link. Share. If you're watching us on Facebook, you could do that by sharing on your timeline, or by sharing this video to the inboxes of your friends, or you could share it to the groups you belong. And also, if you're watching us on YouTube, you could share the link, the YouTube link, on your social media platforms. This is Pastoring Without Tears, a unique show that addresses the church and ministers, pastors. We are here to equip ministers of God, to equip the body of Christ with the principles, with the truth, with the values of the kingdom, to bring the will of God on earth as it is in heaven, and to bring God's kingdom here on earth. So if you're watching us right now, please go ahead and share. If you're a constant, you know that we come every Friday, 7 p.m. Kyiv time, 5 p.m. UK time, 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And it's always an exciting time together. And it's always a privilege to be on your screens every Friday evening with Dr. Sunday Adelaja. So for our viewers, as we continue in our discussion, if you have any question to Dr. Sunday, you could ask your question by typing. Okay, you could ask your question by typing on the comment section letter Q. So you could type letter Q on the comment section and ask your question. So we'd have our team who would get your questions, and then I would be able to ask. And also we would have the opportunity, would give you the opportunity to call into the studio if you want to ask Dr. Sunday a question, or if you want to contribute to today's discussion. Like you can see on your screen, we are continuing on the subject, the heart of a minister. The heart of a minister, and we'll be talking on team building. Last week we talked about vision, and in case you missed last episode, you could go to Dr. Sunday's YouTube page, which is Sunday Adelaja Official. Sunday Adelaja Official on YouTube, and just type in the search icon there, Pastoring Without Tears, and you'll be able to see all of our previous episodes. So without further ado, I'm sure you guys you look forward to seeing Dr. Sunday. So I would like to introduce Dr. Sunday to you this evening on today's episode. Good evening, Dr. Sunday.
How are you, sir? Another nurse on your previous.
Hello, sir. Good to have you on the show always.
Yep. I'm ready.
Yes, I'm sure it's another episode where we discuss on subjects that relates to the church, and subjects that relate with pastors, with ministers. I remember there was a certain episode I said that sometimes I feel like our show is not just pastoring without tears, but it is actually living without tears.
Life without tears.
Yeah, life without tears, because what we're sharing in this program, in this show, matters that are not exclusive to just ministers. They are not exclusive to just pastors, but they are things that cut across life generally. And just the understanding that everybody is actually a minister, everybody is a pastor, and that's what you preach to. That you don't see members in your church, but when you come to your church and you see people in the church, you see pastors, you see people who are to be sent to different mission fields, who are to be sent to their promised lands. And so this program is not restricted to just pastors who are behind the pulpit, but it is for every believer, is for every child of God, really. So if you're joining us now, this is Pastoring Without Tears. Please go ahead and share this video to groups you belong. Share it to the inboxes of your friends. Just keep sharing. We are still on the subject of the heart of a minister, and today we're talking about team building. Pastor, most of the programs that we have, you're always I think you always anticipate it because you don't know the videos and you don't know the subjects we're going to talk about. You don't know what it's going to be like. And I personally want to appreciate you actually for the opportunity to do this, because during the course of preparation for this program, I learned a lot. I mean, it prepares me for the future. I get to discover a lot of things that I would not have discovered because of different reasons. But just by preparing for this program, I discover a lot of things. I'm paying attention to a lot of details, and I'm practicing the things that you've thought and things that you've said in your teachings about being meticulous, being about preparing and all of creating systems, structures, details. And it's just a huge opportunity to even sit down and to serve people and to communicate God's mind and God's thoughts to people. However, today we'll be talking about team building, Pastor. And I remember I said it to you just a few minutes before we started that today's topic is going to be team building. And your response was, well, there is already a book for that. And that is something that I also thought about. That, okay, when people see team building for today's topic, they might think that, well, wouldn't this be redundant? I mean, Pastor already has a book on this, so why are we talking about team building and pastoring without tears, since you already have a book on it? And for the book is actually titled The Team Building Skill of Jesus. Skills. The Team Building Skills of Jesus. That's a book written by Dr. Sunday.
Can we look for the book? Can you show the book also? The Team Building Skills of Jesus.
The Team Building Skills of Jesus. That is a book that has been published by Dr. Sunday that has a similarity to this topic. However, today, I don't want to go in line with that book.
Okay.
And I don't want us to discuss about the team building skills.
Okay.
I want us to talk about not the skill of team building, but the heart behind team building. Mm-hmm. Now, maybe our viewers might not quite get what I'm saying, so I will try to explain with my own personal experience so that they are able to get where I'm coming from and what the discussion is going to be about. You know, when I first met Dr. Sunday, I was always blown away by his actions, by what he does. For example, coming from a religious background, you don't see leaders, people in his caliber do some things. For example, carry chair for an ordinary person, serve the person, like serving water. Like, for example, we could be eating together on the dinner table, and then you go ahead and you clear the people's plates, which I've seen you done. I've seen you do several times. So there are many of your actions that you do that I was always, thrown off guard by your actions, and I'm like, wow, this man is just spectacular. So my focus was on just your actions, on your deeds. That wow, this man is just out of this world. Like, how would someone act in this manner? How would someone do this? All right. So I was always at that time I was focused on what you were doing, on your actions. Okay. Then, as I began to study more of your materials, as I began listening to more of your videos, then I started asking a different question. So instead of me paying attention or paying so much attention on your actions, now I became more interested in why you were doing what you were doing. Okay? So, Pastor, you carried the chair for someone, for a lady, or for example, that happened to me many times. When I first came, a lady is trying to carry maybe a heavy chair or table, and I'm just there, just chilling, sitting down, looking at the lady carry the table. And then the pastor just comes in, and then he goes ahead and then he helps the lady carry a bag or carries a chair. And then that is when I just wake up and I'm like, okay, this is trying to he's trying to help this lady. So when I first met you, I was blown away by those acts.
Why are you talking about some events as if there are some far-fetched events? It just happened right now. Or you didn't notice what happened?
Yes.
Well, just tell the story now. Why are you talking about things happened, ancient of days? Something that just happened right now.
It happens every day, Pastor. That it happens every day. Yeah, because...
Or you don't want Emmanuel to feel like you are throwing something to his... Because it's not you who woke up. It's him who woke up. So you don't want to use today's example.
No, let's not use today's example. Let's not use today's example.
You are intimidated, eh?
Let's not use this. Let's just use what you do every time. Yeah, it's what we see you do every time. Yes.
Okay. Gentleman.
So we see you do these actions, all right? So, and most times we are blown away, and I was blown away by your actions. But then as I began, like I said earlier, as I began to study your materials, I began asking a different question, that why do you do what you do? Because I became more interested in your understanding. I became more interested in where you're coming from. I became more interested in your motive.
That is deep.
Yeah. So I started asking questions like this because I discovered that I might see you do something. I'm blown away by it, but I cannot replicate it. I can't do it in my life.
Okay.
You understand? Or the best is that I copy you, but I don't understand what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. For example, I see that, you're helping ladies, and I want to help them too because I see you do it, but I don't have an understanding as to why you're doing it and what is
it just ladies that they help?
No.
That's why they will be carrying some rumors right now.
Pastor, they will carry rumors. Not just ladies, but anybody, anyways. But I just.
You are changing your narrative.
Yeah, but one particular about ladies is because it's something I learned personally. You understand?
Okay.
Coming from our world where we don't pay attention to it, and you just made us realize that we're irresponsible as men if we allow ladies to carry difficult tasks and do things like that. So just from my personal experience, okay. So when I began asking questions like, why are you doing what you're doing? So what it did was, it made me understand your value system. It made me understand your belief system. It made me understand who you are and not just about what you do. And that's exactly in line with what I want us to discuss today.
Beautiful.
I'm not just, I don't just want the pastors to just learn the team building skills. Because if they want to learn the team building skills, they can learn it from your book. But I want today's conversation to be the heart of team building. What is your motive? Why are you doing it? Where are you coming from? That is all. Because that is what we're talking about, the heart of a minister. So I want us to talk about the heart. Why do you want to build people? Why is it that when you see people, you are interested in building them? And I'm saying this because I have a vision for this show. And the vision I have for this show is that, for this episode particularly, is that pastors, ministers would stop using people, but they will start building people. Because what we have in church today, sadly, is that on the surface, it looks like people are being built up because they are doing things, They are acquiring skills, they are acquiring some form of influence in those churches, but they are not being built up. They are actually being used to fulfill the goal, the desire, the ambition of the man of God. So they are not really building people, but they are enslaving people. They are using people. And that's why I want us, because you see, yes, they might have the skill, the team building skill, but the motive is wrong. The heart is wrong. Their understanding is wrong. So just like any tool is neutral, a tool can be used for destruction and it can be used for construction. Team building is also a tool. Some people use it in churches to enslave other people. So they attract people to their churches, try to build them up, but keep them trapped in those churches, enslave them in those churches, and never give them the opportunity to realize themselves, to actualize themselves. But you don't do that. I've been with you. You don't do that. You build people and you release them. You build to release people. So that is what I want to talk about today. The heart behind team building, not the skill. Anyone can acquire the skill. People can learn the skill they can get it from your book or from any other person. But today we are particular about the heart. The heart. What do you have to say, Doctor, about this?
First of all, what I would like to say is to commend you for your depth and to commend you for your ability to see nuances. I have to commend you for your meticulousness and the ability to look for the reason behind the reason, and for your desire to want to help people. I see that you really want to help people. You really want to make Christ be manifested. I see that in your aspiration, all the program that you prepare and you bring me into, they are all around really making people become who God wants them to become. And the topics you come up with, and the questions you ask, and the things you draw from me is really talking about your love for God, for his will to be done, for his kingdom to be manifested, and your love for people, for them to know what God wants of them. So you are looking for best practices that could add value to people. And through every day we are coming through this program, each and every week as we are coming, so you are creating a whole value chain for pastors, for believers, for Christians, for people who are watching us. So I have to commend you for that. That's number one.
Thank you.
But you have not asked me a question. You just said, what did I think?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking. You've not asked me a question about the topic of the day.
Yeah.
So I'm just reflecting on what I heard.
What you heard. All right. Thank you so much, Pastor. Because that's what I really wanted. I wanted to know what you were thinking about it. All right. So, well, our dear viewers, I want to just address you right now. If you're joining us, this is Pastoring Without Tears. Today's going to be a wonderful time. We're going to see team building, and not just the skill, but the heart, the motive behind it from a new perspective today. I have some questions I'm going to ask Dr. Sunday today, and I want you to please go ahead and share this link. If you're watching us, what you're listening to would benefit not just you, but everybody that you know. So I want you to be selfless and to think about others, and go ahead and share this link to them. Just share. Don't stop sharing, and let everybody who you love and everyone who you think and who you believe that would learn something from today's show to get on board. Tag them, share it on their timeline, get to their inboxes, and let's get the word out as we begin today's conversation. All right. Okay. So I'm going to start with, I have 3 videos today. Okay. I have 3 videos that they all speak about team building, but they are in 3 different categories. All right. So first is team building on a personal level, then team building on a church level, all right, on an organizational level, and then team building on a kingdom level, all right. So this is not just personal, where you're building someone personally, or when you're building people in your organization, but the third one is building people ultimately for the kingdom, team building for the kingdom. But you're going to see the videos, and I'm sure you're going to have a great time. So the first question I have for Dr. Sunday is, team building, I believe, is is not a strange topic to you. But like I said earlier today, I want us to discuss on the heart of team building. When you see people come to your church, what do you see in those people? What do you see? And what do you see, and how should pastors see people? What should they see in people? That's the first question I want to. When they see people coming to, because there was a program that we had a few days ago, and that's, I think that was one of the reasons why I chose this topic, because it was
Triggered it.
Yeah, maybe that's what triggered it. The story of Mr. Israel, Good News Balogun. He is a typical example of how churches use and exploit people. You see, he shared a story how he had a gift, but they were not concerned about building him. Their focus was not on helping him become who God wants him to be, but rather their focus was how they can exploit his gifts for the fulfillment of their own personal ambitions. Because he could prophesy, he had the gift of vision. So all their concern was, we have to keep this guy. So they didn't send him to school. They didn't want him to go to school. They didn't want him to develop himself, all because he has a gift that can benefit the church and that can benefit just a group of people. That's a typical example. That's just one person out of millions of people who are going through that. And that's why I'm asking the question, and I want you to help pastors, to help ministers. When you see someone walk into your church, or when you see someone walk into your office, or when you see someone come to you, what should you see? What picture should you see in those people?
First of all, when somebody comes to when somebody comes to the church, or I just meet somebody in the street, or somebody comes to my house, the very first thing that I must focus on is that person experiences the touch of God's love. So that's the first thing that must happen. That touch of God's love could happen maybe through my grin, through my smile, or through my embrace, through my touch, or just through my words, or through my handshake, or it could, if the person could experience that God's love through my prayers, or through my listening, or through my attention, or through my noticing what the person is going through, or what. But anything I need to do, or through miracles, or through preaching, or through teaching, anything I need to do, I must make sure whoever I'm seeing for the first time or not for the first time, that person must experience somehow the touch, the ambience of God's love, the touch of God's love. So that's number one. Number two, if the person comes to the church, I'm not just seeing the person one time and the person is disappearing, but I'm seeing the person and I know that this person is coming to my church or into our church or into my environment where I'm ministering, or let's say the church. Okay, once I need to do anything possible for that person to experience the touch of God, but of God's love. So if the person is a drug addict, I know the touch of God's love that he needs right now is for him to be delivered from that addiction that has been holding him captive. If the person is a prostitute, I know the touch of God's love that she needs right now is to know that she is loved. She's not going to be used. She's going to be loved without anybody asking anything in returns. So, for example, if that person is just a housewife that comes to the church, I know that she's burdened with many things. The situations with her children, situations with her husband, so I need to listen to her. And that is the way that person might experience that God's love. Because in our church, and anybody that comes to our church, I never rush to tell the person to do anything. So we don't tell the person to give money. We don't tell the person to, that's why if you come to our church, you will discover that we take people out from the hall to another room when they give their lives. So as they are away out of the auditorium, then we collect the offering if we need to collect offering. So the people who are coming to the church, we want to reduce their burden as much as possible. So we don't have to add to their burden or to their predicament. Because people who are coming to the church, most of them already have enough of their challenges. In fact, the reason why they are coming to church is because they have already too much burdens that have pushed them to the church. And Jesus said that his burden is light and his yoke is easy. Yeah. So, so we try not to put any pressure on them. Also, even though in our church, we encourage people to serve us in some places or the other, but when you are just coming, we don't want you to serve. We want to minister to you enough. We want to make sure that you are saturated in that experience of God's love. We want to make sure that the God's love that we are talking about, we didn't just sprinkle it on you. We want to soak you into it. Like you soak a bread in water, we want to soak you into that God's love. So once you are heavily overwhelmed by God's love like that, then we begin to tell you the next step. So what's going to be the next step for somebody that just walks into the church, who is a new Christian or who is just coming? The next thing we want to make sure that person understands is redemption. We want to make sure that either you have been a Christian in another church for many years, or you are just coming here for the first time. Either, but we want to make sure that you understand redemption. That is, we must understand what Christ has done for you. It's not enough to be a Christian. It's not enough to come to church. It's not enough to have come to church 20 years. We want to make sure that you understand redemption, the divine exchange that has taken place. We want to make sure that you understand that you were created in heaven, not here when you were born. You were created by God in heaven as an answer to some of God's requests, needs, and demands on the earth. God saw some needs and demands here on earth, and he needed to package an answer for that need. You were the package of God as an answer to a certain need here on earth. So you are packaged, you are custom made to be sent here for a mission. So that is now when we begin to tell people that, hey, the way you have lived before now, you have lived according to the tenets of your environment, according to the custom and the tradition, the overwhelming environment is what you are reflecting. You are not reflecting God's mandate, God's mission, God's commission, God's assignment, God's purpose. Therefore, we now send them to a school in the church that is called the School of Discovery. So before that School of Discovery, you have to go to 2 schools. The first school is School of Encounter with Jesus. That is when we make sure you really encounter Jesus. You are overwhelmed by his love. Then we send you to ABC school. That is the fundamental school. Foundation school. Foundation school where you know the nitty-gritty of salvation and what redemption is. Then after that, when you have passed through that, then we say, hey, do you know what? You were packaged for something. And you have been going another direction. Now let's help you to discover what God had packaged you for and what mission he has sent you for here. So we want to make sure that everybody that has come to our church or that God has brought to come across us discovers himself. What God packaged him for, made him for, and that he is actually living not for the vision of the church, not for the vision of the ministry, not for my vision, but we must help him to discover his mission, the mission for which God decided to package him, to custom made him. That vision is what Jeremiah was talking about in chapter 1, verse 4, when he said, before you were in your mother's womb, why did he have to know you before you were in mother's womb? Because he knew you before you were evil. So you are not known when you just got born here. He knew you when he saw the assignment that needed to be carried out. And he was now saying, okay, who will I make for that assignment. So that was when he knew you. So, but when you are now chosen, before you are in your wonders, were chosen and placed in your wonders womb, he said, when you are now in your wonders womb, I anointed you, I ordained you, because now you have been chosen. So before you were in your mother's womb, I knew you. But when you are now in your mother's womb, you are now being chosen and ordained for a particular task. So that our assignment, when I see anybody coming to the church, my own prayer to God is this: God, don't let me lose out on this person until I've helped him to key back into God and to the assignment for which God decided to mold him and send him here. So once I succeed in doing that to you, later on you can go to another church, you can walk out, but I've been able to key you back into your destiny and into the original purpose and intent in the heart of the Father.
Wow.
You might not give offering, you might not give tithe. I don't care about that. If I could just make you, that means I've led you back to your ministry. And that's why everybody in our church must have a ministry. You cannot be in our church and don't have a ministry. You must have your ministry. You must discover your ministry. It doesn't have to be something religious. It doesn't have to be in the church, but something that is in depth and indwelt in you from the beginning.
Wow. I mean, that's so fantastic, because what you just explained, Pastor, it's a far cry from what we have. I mean, what we have in our churches in Nigeria and Africa. Because if we are going to say the truth as it is, most ministries or most pastors don't see people in that light as people who were custom made by God to fulfill God's call for their life. But they see people as God's gift to them to fulfill their own calling. So that is the reason why they are so much concerned about members, because what you're saying now, it's you don't have the sense of ownership of people. You don't see people as yours, like these people belong to me, I own them, and as such they must work for me. But you see them as God's children. God owns them, and God is your father, and they are your brothers, and you as a minister that God has ordained to help them and to connect them back to the purpose of our Father, for them to fulfill what God has destined them to fulfill. So you're not seeing people as what they call as slaves as such. You're not seeing people as pawns to just move and to use to just fulfill your calling or to fulfill your own vision. But you see people as ordained ministers already, people who have been ordained by God, who has a calling to fulfill, who has a purpose to fulfill, and that your own assignment is to help them discover that thing that God has created them to fulfill, and to release them into that thing. And that's very powerful. There's a video I want us to watch right now, and the video I want us to watch is how you are able to do it with not even your church members, but with people, and particularly someone who came to your house. He was not your church member, and I don't think he's your church member till now, but he came to your house to be taught by you. And in one of your activities with him, Mayowa cut that session because she was doing a vlog at that time, and then he had some things to say during your exercise with him. So please, can we play the first video? It's titled Vlog number 3. Yeah, the first video. And let's see. His name is Joshua Amatari.
Rasmutiru, it actually.
Yeah, and he had some things to say. So watch that video and then we make some comments. No, not this is it, but the specific time.
Hello. Hi guys. I'm going to show you shortly DSA working, normal working mode. So I just want you to see what happens everybody at work.
You can forward it. No, just enough period.
I was going to share when
You
he's
tell her
working.
the time you want
I don't
it
want to
for.
disturb them because, the other guys.
And why? What is the explanation? The only time you began to hear about Ukraine was maybe 20, and all the middle country.
I work in a social media platform.
First time, I had no idea, and it's really making my blood run in my head, and I need to kind of research more on this. Quite interesting information. We've got some guys here. I don't know if they want to say anything. This is Pastor Joshua. He's the key auditor called. What would we call you, Pastor Joshua? What do you do? Tell us, please.
Well, I do whatever Pastor Sunday has me do or wants me to do. I write out his text, I edit it. I work on a social media platform, the blog, put content on Facebook. So it's a host of a lot of things. But right now, we're just editing books together. We're making corrections. And as well, just fellowshipping, enjoying, learning,
Yes.
just embracing the entire atmosphere and enjoying the experience of being with him.
I know you said learning. Can you just give people an example of what, how you learn? I could give many examples, but they hear from me all the time. Well, in the last 24 hours, I think it would be nice if they just hear how you learn and what you've learned. Maybe give them examples of what you've learned.
Well, you learn a lot of things mostly around here from listening and just watching Pastor Sunday do the things he does. So, for instance, something that I learned yesterday was the fact that when your show started, he left the room to go walk in the inner room.
Yeah.
Now, that's not something I'm used to. When you come to someone's house usually and you're doing stuff, you're the one to leave.
Yes.
But he left.
Yeah.
And then when I came, he was telling me, he was like, well, the ladies are having fun, so I had to come in here. And I was like, that's unique. You never really see bosses or owners of homes leave rooms for other people because they want to do their own thing.
Yeah, but
out of
Sunday
humility,
is not like everybody else.
Yeah. So I told him, I said, I've never seen that before. So he was like, you guys are happy. You guys are having fun. You're having your show. So why should he stop you? As long as he can go somewhere else and still do the same thing, he doesn't see any need to interrupt your program. So that was very unique. And I learned from that in the sense that, he owns this house. It's huge, and he has the right to do whatever he wants to do. But he chose to give you the bigger space and go you somewhere that was smaller. So that just made me know how humble he is, how really caring he is, and how very supportive he is of what you're doing. Because so many people can tell you they support you, but they will not really show it in their actions. But he proved yesterday that he was willing to inconvenience himself in his house to make sure that you do your thing. So that was really something that I picked up and I was really impressed with it. And it also had an impression in my mind that I should also do the same thing, because I feel like if this is my house, my rules, you don't come in here and, inconvenience me and stuff. But I now saw that, look, that's not what God was going to do, or that's not what God does. But then I saw somebody really do it for real. So that was something I learned yesterday. So it's things like that, you just pick up on the little stuff that he does. It helps to build your character. It helps to build your knowledge. And I found that it's easy to acquire skills, or it's easier to acquire skills, but it's more difficult to work on your character, to work on your inside, But with him, you tend to build your skills, you get to work on your character, you get to experience a lot of personalities and a lot of different people in this place, In this house builds you, it puts pressure on you from different places, and you just have to learn and grow and decide to live with it and just
Okay. I don't know if our viewers I don't know if they were able to get what
narrate to them.
So what happened was the person who was speaking is Joshua Amatari, and is one of Dr. Sunday's disciple, assistant, and things like that. So what was happening there was that Dr. Sunday and Joshua, they were working on a book. They were editing a book.
Writing a book.
Writing a book, yes. And, just to say little about this, when you're with Dr. Sunday, it is more difficult for you not to learn a skill than for you to learn a skill. I don't know if that makes sense.
No.
I mean, you know, opportunity.
It's impossible for you not to learn.
Yes. So
it's impossible for you not to learn one skill or the other.
So it will take you more effort.
Not to learn.
Not to learn.
Than to learn. Oh, good.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, because with Dr. Sunday, I mean, opportunities for you to improve yourself, they are overwhelming. That most times people run away from this house. Yeah, people run away, or they just stay and just not.
And lose it.
Yeah, and just don't even come close. So we'll just be far. Yeah, let DS just be on his own place. But if you're someone that wants to learn, because I can tell you that, so I can start making a list of many skills that I've learned in just less than few months of being with him. I mean, from book editing, video editing, YouTube optimization, I mean, book writing, speaking, hosting shows, journalism, I mean, editing. I can just make a list of skills I've learned. And the thing is writing, I mean, translating, transcription,
letter writing.
Yeah, just different kind of skills. So that's why I said that it is more difficult for you not to learn, not to improve yourself if you're with Dr. Sunday than for you. So I can understand what was going on with Joshua, because Maya asked him, what do you do? And he just mentioned it. I do anything that Dr. Sunday would have me to do. That is the best way for you to learn with Dr. Sunday. Anything. If he says, and you think, you cannot do it, just say, yes, I will do. I will do. Because that's an opportunity for you to learn and for you to equip yourself. So that's exactly what Joshua was saying. So he does a lot of things with Dr. Sunday. I mean, many things. However, what was even more interesting about his narrative, and that's why I brought it out, was the lesson that he learned not 2 months ago, not like a year ago, but the lesson that he learned from Dr. Sunday yesterday, as at the time when he was speaking. And what was the lesson that he learned? When my work came, I remember the time when she got the opportunity to vlog. I knew she was not as she is right, as bold as she is right now. I remember when she started vlogging, smiling, hello everybody, everything like that. Yeah, and it was you that
she was sizzling.
Yeah, and all of that. Yeah, so you gave her the opportunity to discover herself. I mean, look at my one today, Lord. She's causing like earthquake, tornado, hurricane on Facebook. Like she is. Let me advertise her. If you don't watch Maya Olaya's show, you are missing a lot. Dear viewers, she comes live.
She's the queen of the internet.
Yeah, she is the queen of the internet right now. So, she comes live every day. She comes live every day, 3 p.m. Ukraine time, 1 p.m. Nigerian time, 1 p.m. British time. You know, you just need to be on a show for just once, and you know what I'm talking about.
One,
just one.
Not be two.
You see that she is doing something that millions of people cannot do. Yeah, and she's doing it with every grace that there is. Total commitment. Yeah. But this time, this was our days of little beginning when she just started.
All of us had days of little beginning.
Yes. Just like me hosting the show now. I remember the first time I hosted the show. I mean, I was almost looking for words to say, being camera conscious and all of that. But I mean, we all start somewhere. But what did Joshua say? Joshua noticed something that you did. And that's why he said that I stopped being so particular about what you do, because he was thrilled. But I mean, thank God he asked the right question and he said it. And he saw that he had to imbibe it into his life. What happened? So Maya was having a show she was doing a show in this room, okay? And it's a big place. And Dr. Sunday was there also trying to get something done.
Editing, writing books.
Writing books. So what did Dr. Sunday do? He saw that Maiwa was having a show, trying to realize herself, trying to do what
To fulfill
her calling. And Dr. Sunday left the big room and went to a smaller room for him to get what he wanted done. Now, Joshua, being from where I am from, as a Niger religious bred human being, as a senior man, you don't leave your
comfort zone.
Yeah, you don't leave your comfort zone for someone who is just trying to just do some video recording and trying.
Especially when you are the owner of the house.
Especially when you are the owner of the house. So he understood that this is not done. Most times you leave, I'm the owner of the house. You do what you have to do later. I am in charge, and you do what you have to do. What I want to do. Yeah? If you have anything you want to do, you look for a time for it. You say, but what did you do?
Look for a time.
You look for a time for it. I have to. But what did you do? You allowed her.
Not me, Pastor Sunday.
What did Pastor Sunday do? Yeah, Pastor Sunday allowed Mayowa to continue doing what she was doing. He left that place and went to a smaller room with Joshua. And Joshua himself was surprised and was like, nobody does this. Why would you leave your comfort zone? Why would you leave a bigger room, spacious, and it's inconvenience yourself just to allow Mayowa fulfill what I mean? Who does that? So he got as a lesson, and he said something that I loved, and that's one of the things I want us to talk about today. And he said, with Dr. Sunday, you see, it's easier for you to learn a skill. It's easier for you to learn a skill than for you to work on your character. That is what a lot of people don't get with Dr. Sunday. And it's good that he was asking the right question, and he discovered that, okay, what Dr. Sunday did was not just an action, just wanting to just be nice, but there's something that made him act that way. There's an understanding that he has. There is a motive behind it, and there's a reason why he would leave his comfort zone to allow another person to realize herself, to allow Mayowa to realize herself. And
well, is it just about Mayowa?
Yeah, but not Mayowa, but we're just talking about...
No, it's good that you point that out so that people know that
but not just Mayowa, but it's what you do for everybody, actually.
You are talking about me, but that's what he does.
Ooh.
That's what DSA does.
Okay, that's what DSA does, sorry. That's what DSA does, not just for Mayowa, but it does it for everybody. Anyone who is seeking for an opportunity, just like his platform, so DSA's platform. I mean, there are countless of people who have come to this platform who he has given his platform, he has given his platform for them to actualize themselves, to realize themselves, to do what they have a passion for. And it does not come from Adam. It just, okay, you have what you want to do, you have a purpose, you have something, and you're looking for a platform. Come on. My platform is available for you. Come, let me interview you. Come, let me help you. Oh, you have a book and you need somebody to write a foreword. Come on, I can write a foreword for you. Oh, you need someone to help propagate your book. Come on my platform. I have thousands of followers, millions of followers. Climb on my shoulders. Let me be a ladder for you. Let me be a bridge for you. And that's exactly who DSA is, and this is the philosophy that he lives by as a leader. And I mean, it was just captured by that video that we just watched, how Dr. Sunday would sacrifice his comfort. I've seen him do this severally. Dr. Sunday would sacrifice his comfort. Sometimes he would intentionally do what other people would say, but Pastor, let's use logic. Pastor, it does not work. It is not right. But he would rather sacrifice himself, rather leave his comfort zone just to help another person be fulfilled and to help another person do what God has called him to do. And that is something unique. That is something, rare. That is, you don't come by it easily, because there are very few people who have this kind of mindset. Very few people have this kind of mindset. And like I was saying, and like I said earlier, that our conversation today is on the heart of a minister. And you are a minister. And you are showing to the world, and you're demonstrating to us how to think. In just those minute details, things that are seemingly insignificant, like leaving the room to another room for another person to do a live show. Who is this man called something? Where is he coming from? Why would he do what he's doing?
Okay, you're talking about heart of a minister.
Yeah.
First of all, there are two factors that are behind the scene influencing me, and that are responsible for molding my character and determining who I became today, or who I am today. Number one factor is the fact that my grandmother was the person who raised me up, and I grew up with her. And but because of the tragedy that happened in the family, we were very poor. So we were always an outcast to some extent, to a large extent. We were always, for example, even my grandmother would be invited to a party, for example, and then they would not allow me to come into that party because I would not dress properly. I would be having a pant and a torn dress, and then no shoes. And I never wore shoes until I was 12 years old. So no shoes, and then in my leg, it's always short. I never had long something. So the short thing I used to wear was my leg. Up to now, if you look at it, it's full of wounds and scars. But those days, they were fresh wounds, and flies were always following me in Africa. You have these house flies. They were always following me. So they would not allow me to enter, I couldn't, my grandmother would be fighting for me and things like that. So I know what deprivation is. I know what rejection is. What it is to not be noticed, what it is to be rejected, what it is to be, to be abandoned, to be insignificant. So when I was growing up, I thought I was going to thank my mother, my grandmother, who is my mother. She's the only mother I knew. So I was always full of determination that I will grow up one day. This woman, I will thank her. This woman, I will repay her. She's going to be the happiest woman in the world. I'm going to make it. I'm going to travel abroad. I'm going to become somebody. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to make her, I'm just going to give her a life of fairy tale. Then she died when I was just 16. It was like my whole life was just ruined. That I couldn't even say thank you to her. And at that point I was very stubborn. The Sunday, the Olorunwa, she knew, that is my name, my local name. The Sunday she knew was the hooligan Sunday. Because even though I was always disobedient to her, I was always, stubborn, but I was also, always remorse later on. And I was always thinking this behind my, in my subconscious, that I was going to pay her back. Then nobody to pay back. So I lost the essence of becoming successful. I lost the essence of trying to work hard. I lost the essence of trying to travel abroad or be anything, because the person I wanted to do it for is gone. So as I was dealing with that pain, I don't know where this came from, but I just had an awesome awareness that, you know what, I couldn't do it for my grandmother, but I'm never going to allow any human being that needs me or that I could help, that needs my help, that needs anything from me, pass me by. what I needed to do for my grandmother, what I wanted to do for her, the thank you that I wanted to give her, the appreciation that I wanted to give her, and the love that I wanted to give her, I've got to give it to any human being that will be in my position, that will be in a position of need. And so anything that I could do for any person of need, I will be doing it as if I'm doing it for my grandmother. So this was before I got born again. So that became my compensation and my purpose and my passion and my philosophy of life. So I began to study hard, to work hard. I would not pass by anybody in need. So because I was there, I don't want any human being to be in the place of rejection where I was, and to be in the place of poverty and need and sorrow and that I was in. I don't want any human being to pass through the pain that I passed through when I was growing up. So I will rather give myself than see people suffer. So that's number one. Number two, then when I got saved, then I began to read the Bible. Then I discovered that, look at it. This is what God wants us to be like. It just became because I was going to be like that for my grandmother, but I was also expecting backlash, or that I might not make it, or that I might not be able to do things that I wanted to do. But now I discovered that God himself wants us to live like this. He left heaven, came to the earth, became like man, identify with the conditions of people, and that's what I started to do. I want to come to the level of everybody, identify with them, listen to them, help them. It became my life. This is what Jesus did. He left the comfort of heaven, became man. So I don't know if I'm answering your question,
yes, you are.
but these are the reasons behind my that's what has made me to become this is what molded me to who I am today.
Wow. Well, that is such it's a touching story, and if you're listening, you could definitely feel Pastor's heart, you could feel DS's heart as to why he is who he is today. Certain things that has produced the DSA that we see today. For those of you who are watching us and you have a question or you like to contribute to today's discussion, you can write us on Facebook Messenger, Move Agents. So Move Agents on Facebook Messenger. You can write us that you want to call in, and we would love to receive your call so you can contribute to today's discussion. And if you have a question to Dr. Sunday and you don't want to call in, you can do that by writing in the comment section on both our Facebook and on our YouTube. We'll have our team on standby, and they would get your question across to me, and I would love to ask your question. All right. So, amazing team building and being able to see people as God's treasure, and being ready, being committed, not to bypass one person, not to bypass any human being, but to help everyone and anyone that comes your way, to help them, to build them. That is just fantastic, and that's what we see on a personal level. And I told you guys that I have videos on 3 levels. So the first video that we have is on the personal level. I still have 2 more videos on an organization.
Do we have a caller?
Do we have a caller?
Grom, she's there like that. Hello?
Hello?
Tis Nashela Dojna Samas Lushati Golas. Hello? Is there a caller? Is he talking? Ashwo Ministry.
Yeah, we can't hear. All right, so I think we would fix that. So caller would call you back, and then we'll fix it. All right. So
maybe you want to do the second video.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do the second video. So the first video that we talked about is the video on the personal level. That's what we just saw. But then the next video we're going to see is on the church level. On the church level. If you've not shared this video, please go ahead and share it while we prepare for the second video. On the church level, pastors, apostles.
Video.
And in this video, I want you to please pay attention to what is being said about these people. They call their names, but please pay attention to what is being said as their names are being called out. These are pastors, apostolic team in church. All right.
Bye-bye. Video. Okay, you continue. They will show the video.
All right. Okay. So while we prepare for the video, I can see a comment here by Mrs. Adiola Disu, and she said, "This is true today. You are doing exactly that. You always give yourself to people to help them experience the love of the Father. Thank you." That's from Mrs. Adiola, and I believe she's been here and she has experienced. But I'm telling you, the third video I have for today is going to blow your mind, because what Dr. Sunday is doing is not just influencing people that are just here and are close to him in proximity, but is influencing people that have not even seen him one-on-one.
Right?
People that have not seen him, but he has been able to even build them in far from Ukraine, far from Europe. So you're going to see the video and you understand exactly why we're talking today, not just about the skill of team building, but you see our focus today is on the heart, on the content, the inner content, as to why you're doing what you're doing. What is the motive? What is the intention? What is the understanding behind it? I don't know if the video is ready.
Yeah.
All right, so let's watch the video.
Hear the name. And so we invited Pastor Natalia Potapaiva, pastor missionary, the God's Embassy Church missionary in Berlin, Germany, the president of the International Fund, Natalia Potapaiva, the founder of the Relocation Center for Love.
Звук.
Yes, it's fine.
Okay.
We invite to this stage Bishop Anatoly Belonoshka. Anatoly Belonoshka is the bishop of all the churches in Kiev, and he's the head of all the Ukrainian, of all the Kievan churches. He's the head of the missionaries center.
That's the most important thing.
We invite Pastor Bose Adalacha. Pastor Bose Adalacha
is a pastor of the Central Church, the Embassy of the Blessed Kingdom of God for All Nations, and of the English Church. And she's the founder of many movements. We invite Pastor Alutopa Amatoya. Pastor Tope is a missionary of the Embassy of God in Frankfurt, Germany. He is the director of the History Maker School in Germany. We invite to this stage Pastor Vasily Beletsky. Vasily Beletsky is a pastor missionary of the Embassy of God Church in Sacramento, the United States of America. And he's the senior pastor in the United States of the Embassy of God Church. Also, we invite to this stage Pastor Alexander Mikhalik, who couldn't come today, but he said all his greetings and congratulations. Let us greet him through the internet. Pastor Alexander Mikhalik. He is a pastor in Philadelphia, the USA, and he's the director of the History Maker School in the United States. We greet you and all your family. You look at us. Hello to America. And we invite to this stage Parents Against Their Immorality. And she's the head of different social movements. And she's the member of the health minister in Ukraine. We invite Alena Dobrovolska. Alena Dobrovolska is the head of the Ukrainian social organization Masters of the Land, and she's the member of 8 Soviet lobbies in our government, and she's one of the members of the social organizations of Association Restoration. And we invite Pastor Alexander Korman. Alexander Korman is an honored doctor of theology, and he's the founder of the movement Fathers, and he's the head of the Center of Morality in the capital. Larissa Krivoruchka, she is a pastor of Church Sila Любви in Kiev. And she's the founder of more than 10 social organizations. We invite to this stage Pastor Andrei Kuksanka. Pastor Andrei Kuksanka is a pastor of the Embassy of God Church in Tacoma, the USA, and he's the founder of a social movement. We invite to this stage Pastor Anton Litvin. Pastor Anton Litvin is a pastor of the Embassy of God Church in Simferopol, the Crimea. He's the founder of more than 50 social movements. We invite to this stage Pastor Tatiana Maximenko. Pastor Tatiana Maximenko is the pastor of the Embassy of God Church in Kiev. She's the founder of more than 20 social organizations. We invite to this stage Pastor Victoria Melnik. Pastor Victoria Melnik is a social pastor in Kiev. She's the president of a social organization, Center for Restoration and Rehabilitation of the Society. She's a doctor, she's a docent. We invite Pastor Evgeny Peresvetov. Pastor Evgeny Peresvetov is a senior pastor of the Christian church in Russia, Moscow. He's the head of the of more than 20 organizations. And we invite Pastor Sergei Pyshny. Pastor Sergei Pyshny is a pastor in Vishnyovo city in Ukraine. And he's the helper of the mayor in that city. And we invite Pastor Roman Trokhin, the pastor of the church in Kiev. He's the president of the social organization, the movement against the drugs and corruption. He's the head of the social organization and committee that works against the corruption.
Wow, amazing. I don't know if, are you guys still there? I don't know if you were able to listen to and to pay attention to all that was being said. I mean, it's just mind-blowing to see how you, Dr. Sunday, all right, Dr. Sunday Adelaja, raises people from, I mean, obscurity.
From unbelievers.
From
All those people were unbelievers. Only one was a believer before he met me.
All of them.
All of them were unbelievers.
Wow. I mean, look at what they were saying. They were all heads, not just of God's Embassy Church, but they were heads of movement. I mean,
National movement.
national movements, heads of 50. Yeah. Huh? Yeah, it's on. It's on. Okay, let me check and confirm this. Yeah, it's on. It's on. Good. All right. Can you hear me? Let me confirm if I'm heard. Am I heard? All right. Sorry, guys, for the break. So, I mean, these are group of people who are not just working for Dr. Sunday's.
No, they have
church,
their ministry, their own,
but they had
their own vision, territories, spheres of influence, ministries.
I would like to hear from you if you can say anything about it, because I'm sure you know them better than I do.
No, what do you want me to hear?
So I want you to tell us, these people, maybe a brief story of where they're coming from and who they are, because we just see them being called.
Okay, then I might need to go back. Can we go back to the video? And let me just pass name minuty. There should be когда все стоят на сцене, чтобы я видел, кто стоит.
All right.
So I might need to have a look at all of them. So like I said, you know, these were just regular people who came to church. This was a new team that I formed after, you know, the other team before them were released, or they went to their own way. They went their own way. But these ones also have been released. They went their own way. I have another team again now. So I have teams like that, 20 levels. This is the level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My dream when I started the ministry was to have teams like this on 15 levels. I thought if I would be able to build to the depth, 15 level of depth, if I would be able to build 15 levels down, 15 levels down, then I'm ready to go I'm fulfilled as a leader. But I was able to build 20 levels downward, deep. And so one goes, we put another one comes, one goes, another one comes. But for you, if you just want to know who they are, yeah.
That works against the
Okay, can we, is it
corruption.
Возможно, чтобы крупнее, как-то найти там, где крупнее, только без звука там, чтобы мы видели, где оно крупнее. So let's start with Pastor Natasha, the lady in the center in black, near Pastor Bosse. Yes. So she is the first one of the first people that came to church. She is the Natalia alcoholic that we always talk about. The one that I went to that told me that she's Natasha alcoholic. Well, to cut the long story short, she is 70 years old now, but she's still a missionary in Germany. But at that point, she had started 35 churches by herself. And she has, you know, many movements all over Europe, Greece, Belgium, Germany, Finland, Sweden. I mean, she's just an apostle. That was what God led me to prophesy concerning her, that she was going to be an apostle. So, wonderful lady. Then we have the man there near her, you know, his gray head. That was the bishop. That is like, I didn't want to be a bishop. I don't like to have title. I'm the founder of the church. When he came to church, he was alcoholic. He was a drunkard, just like the woman too. The woman was a drunkard, alcoholic. He was alcoholic. But now he became the bishop of all churches of the embassy. We've got 2,700 churches. Okay, then we have Pastor Tokmai. That's the only black man in my team. He was a medical doctor, studied here, then moved to Germany, and then came back, got born again, and, you know, to join my team. Left his profession. Left his job, left his profession. Best vision. So
What can you tell friends? This is my team.
And you got embassy.
Назад чуть-чуть. Я говорю, останови. Чуть-чуть назад. Не так настолько долго. Чуть минут, секунды назад просто. Которые только что было. Хорошие чудотворцы какие-то. She just messed the whole thing up. Anyway, where did I stop? With Pastor Tokwe. So he became born again here, and in Kiev here, you know, he and his wife. Then now, after they had grown, became members of the Apostolic Council. Now she is now, you know, he was now at that point the head of our Bible schools in Europe. So we had Bible school in Belgium, we had Bible school in Luxembourg, we had Bible school in England, we had Bible school in Germany. So we had Bible school in Austria, we had Bible school in Switzerland, we had Bible school in France, we had Bible school in America. So he was coordinating that whole thing. Then who is the next person there? Okay, we have another one there who is the lady that is going now. Okay, why she understand it. Okay, the lady that is going there, the last one that is attention pasledne. Okay, let's talk. Let's take the anyway. I mean, how many will I talk about?
Yeah.
You know, what do you want me to say
Yeah,
basically?
because what I want you just so that people can understand who these people are.
Yes.
And their journey.
They're my team. Okay, you want me to talk about all of them?
Not all of them. Just
Okay.
to just get.
Okay. There is one person there who is okay. The last lady to the left here. No, that the other one. Yeah.
Okay.
That is Pastor Victoria. She's a dean of a university. She's the head of department of a university. She's a dean and she's a professor, but in the world. But she's heading our institute. We have an institute here, Packaging as Venizo. We have an institute here, where she's heading. She's the head of the educational center of the Embassy of God. And in 17 countries, she has been able to graduate over 40,000 people. Wow. So for that 40,000, it's even bigger than some churches. Then the guy beside him is the head of our mission in Russia. We have over 100 churches, maybe over 200 churches and organizations in Russia. I've been banned from going to Russia, but we have, all the work going on there. Then the guy in the white suit, he was also, all of these people got born again here, like I said, apart from one. That one is the head of the men's institute in the country, the men's manhood institute. And his literature is what the Ministry of Education is using for schools to teach people about not bad habits, how to be a good parent, how to be a good son, how to be a good daughter, about relationship between children. Anyway, he's into education. Then who is beside? Okay, beside her is beside him is Olena. Olena is she's the one who built this house actually. Wow. So she's a very good administrator, manager, and she's a business lady. But also she was the one who was heading our publishing house, and then she was heading over 200 churches in Ukraine here.
I mean, Pastor, sorry to cut you short,
yes.
But the reason why I wanted you to talk about these people is
yes.
because I know some of them, but I don't even know all of them. Not
yes.
talk about our viewers, so they don't know these people. They don't know where they're coming from. Yeah,
okay.
But if people paid attention to what you were explaining, they will discover that what you were saying these people were doing or are doing is not church focused. It's not church focused. It's not about God's embassy alone. But it's just
national focus.
Yeah, exactly. It's national focus. It's
and kingdom focus. Yeah.
It's not about you using them to build your own empire.
No, all of them have their church. Everybody that pastors a church in the Embassy of God is an independent church.
Exactly.
So all the churches in the Embassy of God, they relate to one another like brothers and sisters, like a network, but of independent churches. So what we do is that we start a church, we sponsor them for 1 or 2 years, and then we release them for free. I mean, to be on their own. So they don't tell me how much money they collect. I don't know how much money they collect. They don't give me any money. They don't, they give 10% among themselves to the mission, the mission house, the missionary center, so that we send more missionaries out. Otherwise, they don't give me any money. They don't need to give me any money. So, but the money they give also helps the younger ones to also come up together. So, yeah. So then, any other question?
It's fine because we still have one more video to watch. But,
okay.
but what I just want our viewers to understand, and for the ministers who are listening, is that you see, if you are able to understand what we're talking about, you discover that it is not about Dr. Sunday Adilaja. That all what he has been able to do with these people is not about God's Embassy Church, but it's about the kingdom of God. It's about the nation. It's about people discovering their spheres of calling, discovering their promised land, and
releasing them into it, helping them to enter into it. Yeah.
Yes. Helping them to get into their promised land and to take over their promised land. Not trying to hold them down, trying to make it all about you. You understand?
No, all of them have their own thing they are doing right now.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I want us to watch the third video. That will be the final video for today. And why I like this video is because these people that we're going to watch, they are not in Europe. They are far in Africa, more precisely in Nigeria. And they refer to themselves, or they call themselves, DSA team, but this is Abuja branch. So this is Abuja DSA team, and they did something spectacular to celebrate Dr. Sunday Adelaja's 50th birthday celebration. Let's watch this video, and we're going to explain why this video is very important.
Yes, welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. Tell her your names.
Okay. My name is Regina.
Okay.
Sarah Mimi.
That's my wife.
Ah, okay. Welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
I'm Dennis.
Dennis.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you, Rosemary.
Rosemary.
And of course, I'm the cameraman, Mr. Michael.
Michael.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Welcome. Welcome. I will greet you. Welcome. Welcome.
Birthday person is in Ukraine. No, that's his base.
Okay.
So he's our leader, and we are his disciples.
Yes.
Dr. Sunday Adelaja. Dr. Sunday Adelaja is a pastor.
Yes.
Based in
Ukraine. Yes, here. Yes.
So we're celebrating his 50th birthday today.
It's
The
quite
world
young.
over. Yes, quite young. I'm sure younger than you.
Older than you. Older than you. Yes.
So and this is where we believe we should celebrate with
Mommies and daddies.
We are expecting a patient this evening, a young lady, 20 years old, with breast cancer. Yes, and she's already full of with the cancer cells and confined to the wheelchair. She can't move. We don't know her, but the father, I spoke with the father. They are still in St. Mary, so they can come in anytime.
This is just the preamble to introduce ourselves, and
Yes.
then we get in to see
Yes.
the patients.
All right.
And since we are not going to video
Yes.
them,
Yes.
then we can interact with them.
Yes.
And after that, we make our presentation.
Yes.
Then we can do our own photograph outside
Yes.
with you.
Yes,
If
with
you are
us.
looking-
Yes, we go with the staff.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So you are welcome to the hospital. What we do here, the original idea I told you before, is to take care of the dead and the dying. That's our main apostolate. We make sure that we are there with the dying until they die. That's our main focus. So we take in now. You will see at the
Happy returns, happy birthday. That is all I can say. I wish you many, many happy returns. Happy birthday. That is all I can say. I wish you many, many happy returns. Throw your hands in the air, wave them like you don't care. Raise up your voice and make some.
All right, beautiful. So because of our time, we'll have to just cut it. If you want to watch it, you could watch it on Sunday Ledger official YouTube. I can't remember the title. I think the title has to do with DSA team.
Abuja.
Abuja team. DSA Abuja team. You see. So what happened there? These are people who have not met Dr. Sunday before. The only place they met him was online, listening to your teachings, and the people who reside in Abuja, they got themselves together and agreed to visit a hospice. And for people that don't know what a hospice is, it's a place where care is given to the old and to dying people who are about to die. Yeah.
Ms. Lichner,
Good. Yeah.
one.
So this is a very amazing thing because you are not with them, but you were able to build them.
And not just in Abuja, they were doing it in Port Harcourt, they were doing it in Lagos, they were doing it all over the world, in France, in Belgium, in Germany, in London,
Amazing. I think we have a caller.
Hello? No voice.
Hello, caller.
Appears звука Он говорит, но не слышно.
I think we can't.
Okay, you keep on talking
All right.
meanwhile.
So
Teidi Raspberry is
while we await that, now why I brought out this video is because the first video we analyzed and we saw was a person, an individual who was close to you, who was in your house.
Oh.
You see, he was close to you, he was in your house, and you were building him up, all right, for his own calling, for his own destiny. That's on a personal level.
Yeah, it's also the same thing, knowing him from nowhere.
From nowhere.
Yeah, living in my house, accepted him. Yeah.
Accepted him, allowed him to live here, and then worked with him, teaching him with skills and everything. And exactly what you also did for my award too. Then
for you
and for me too.
And for others.
For everybody. Yeah, and for everybody. Then that's on the personal level. Then the second video we watched was on a church level. You see, now you worked on those people not because they came to your house particularly, but because they came to your church. They were led by God to your church, and you helped in building them as personalities. Then these third people, category of people, they don't come to your church. They're not in your house. All they do is just to sit in their homes and listen to your messages, listen to your teachings, watch you, and they are able to catch your heart. I mean, you didn't tell them to do this. It was your birthday celebration, and you know how Nigerians, how we party. For Nigerians, birthday is
chilling time.
It's chilling time. Is let's go to the beach or let's go somewhere, let's drink, let's eat, let's just party. But I think they understood your heart. They understood who Dr. Sunday is, and they knew that the best way as disciples of Dr. Sunday is not to just throw a party and to dance, but it's for us to minister to people, life to people. Like what you said, that when you see, and what I asked you, that when you see someone or you see people, what do you see? How do you see people? And what is your goal? And what you said was that your goal, your number one assignment is to help everyone who comes close to you to feel the touch of God's love, to be an instrument to channel God's love to people. And that's exactly what these people did. So they went to a hospice to release, to extend the touch of God's love to the people there who are dying. And I mean, talking about team building or building people, this is exactly what it is. Being able to reproduce yourself, reproduce your values. You understand? Not just we're followers of DSA, but you were able to reproduce your values, reproduce your belief system, your understanding to people who are far in Abuja, Nigeria. And that's exactly what I was talking about today, about the heart. So these people, they understood your heart, and they got the heart, not just the skill, you understand, not just, but the heart of team building.
On 3 levels, eh?
Yeah, on the 3 levels, on the personal level, on the church level, and just
world level.
People are not close to you. I don't know if you have...
This is showing the brilliance of Dr. Anu. Brilliance of Dr. Anu. You are very thoughtful. Very thoughtful.
Thank you
yeah, very thoughtful.
Do we have a caller
Yeah, I think they are calling right now. But let's try to receive a few calls.
All right.
Hello? Hello? I think we have a technical problem here. I think, давай громче, Зела, я слышу. Максимум поставь. Давай громче. Huh? Yeah, hello. Grumshe.
Okay, just a quick one.
Okay, that's it.
Preparing for your next program.
Yes.
You know, apart from the prostitution of tithe and offering, to me, this is one aspect of mystic.
First of all, who is is that Aruna from England?
Yes, sir. Aruna from England.
Oh, good.
What I have learned. So, like I always tell people, it's not about the person, it's about the truth. Now, my 15 years in Winners did not train me to touch lives. But just for 12 months, I've changed my orientation. I'm able to touch life.
12 months.
This place, this hospices.
You mean 12 months of following the essay?
Yes. You know, but people will say, why are you talking about DSA? So I said, it's not about DSA, it's about the truth that he carries. You know, like this place you showed, these hospices, when I left UK recently, I went straight to the place. I never knew somebody from your team has ever visited the place. So this is the place I went to. Instead of going to a building to praise God, I went to meet God inside man. That woman, I met her, and she was able to share with us the things they were doing, preparing people that are already been certified by doctors. So these people are going to die. They stay with them, people with cancer, people that are smelling. These are the things I was doing now. These are the things that I'm doing. So it's a complete change in my orientation. But I want to also make reference to your suffering. You suffered because you were once rejected.
Yes.
But in my own case, I was never rejected. I was abused. So I was abused by somebody that used me as his ladder, instead for me to use him as my ladder, as you're teaching us now. This has produced a desire in me to make up for all the 15 years or more that I've lost, being the ladder somebody else that I supposed to climb on. But the challenge we are going to have, and I'm always struggling with this thing, which I want you to help us with the experience God has given it to you now. Where are we directing people to? Because most of these ministries, they are professional in making people into their slaves. So when we tell people, no, don't go to those places, we struggle to tell them where do they go to, because they tell us, we are new converts. Where do we learn the Bible from? We cannot teach ourselves. So they need us to show them where they can get a ladder to climb. And please, if you, in the few minutes you have, I know you've thought about this thing before, but some people don't know. Even me, I'm struggling with, where do they go to?
But Doctor,
people need to be directed. Because
you.
I know if they go there, 90% of these churches will take advantage of them.
Very
because
good.
The leader is no more a ladder.
Yes, Aruna, thank you so very much. Concerning, first of all, I'm very happy that you two went to that same hospice, even though you live in Europe, but you went on holidays to Nigeria and you knew exactly what to do because you've been taught well. So the 12 months you've been listening to me is enough for you to know that when you go to Nigeria, you've got to look for the less privileged people. And you did the same thing, not even knowing that the DSA team in Africa, in Nigeria, in Abuja are doing the same thing, that they have visited that same place. So it's confirming what Dr. Anu said now, that the disciples of DSA, you are catching my heart, you are catching the message, and you are catching the gospel and the essence of the gospel, and which is to care for the poor, the widows, and the orphans, and the strangers, and everything. Those are the things that God said we should do. And also, concerning the question that you asked, where should we send these people? Don't worry. I am right now doing my series, How to Know God Through the Bible. Then after that, I will be doing the series on how to know God through the Holy Spirit. After that, I'm going to be doing another series that is going to be interesting. It's going to be called How to Know God Through the Church. There, I'm going to answer the question about what to do if they are in that kind of environment, like in Africa, where there are not too many real churches. And I'm going to answer all those questions in details. You know the way I do it. It's going to be a full series.
All right. Well, this is...
Do we still have a caller?
I don't know if we still...
You sure I didn't spare him? Let's try to see if we could still get better.
Let's try to
But
see.
meanwhile, let me make an announcement that for you, those of you who want to get my books, you can read all my books for free, by the way. You can read them for free on Kindle Unlimited, or you can buy them on Amazon.com. Or if you want to buy them in bulk, then you need to write to my office here in Ukraine by writing to dsasbooks@gmail.com. dsasbooks@gmail.com. Then you'll be able to get the books cheaper than on Amazon. But for those of you who want us to be sending you my messages every day, then you send us your WhatsApp number. Send us your WhatsApp number, and we are going to be sending messages to you every day. Our number, where you should send your WhatsApp number to, is +38 098 596 3838. It's on the screen right now. Then for those of you who might want to come to Ukraine, just write to guest, GUEST, @godembassy.org. For those of you who want to visit and come for the HMT, we still have 2 weeks before the HMT. You might want to, maybe we'll still make it, especially if you don't need visa. If you are having European passport or American passport, you will not need visa to come here. So just write to hmt@godembassy.org, and maybe you could still make it. It's going to be an explosive HMT in the next weekend, in the next 2 weeks. And if you have not yet joined my mentorship program, go to sundayadelajablog.com/mentorship. In 15 minutes, I will be coming again to continue the series, How to Know God Through the Bible. Doctor.
Well, what more can I say? Thank you guys for joining us today. It was a wonderful time, wonderful discussion as always on Pastoring Without Tears. For those of you who would like to join us next week, because we come out live every Friday, 7 p.m. Kyiv time, 5 p.m. British time and Nigerian time. We're always here on the Pastoring Without Tears show. We're going to continue on the Heart of a Minister next week. It's going to be another interesting topic with new set of videos, and I want you to know that you can share this video to pastors that you know, to ministers. Let them have the truth. Let it not be said that they didn't have an opportunity to hear the things that are being discussed here. So we're doing our best, and you can help us to share this broadcast and to share this news, this video all across board. So thank you guys for joining us once again. My name is Anu Ojo, and I would definitely hand over to Dr. Sunday to give his final words.
Yes, I just want to invite everybody that we are back on live broadcast, 7 o'clock British time, 7 o'clock Nigerian time, in 15 minutes time. In 10 minutes time, actually, we're going to be coming on to be with you on how to know God through the Bible. These days, I'm just preaching for 30 minutes, or sometimes less than 30 minutes. And then we're trying to put music, Ukrainian music, our praise and worship. You let us know if it's worth it or it's not worth it. If you think it's not worth it with the music, we're going to remove it. But just in case, if you think it's okay, we can leave it. But if you feel that the music is disturbance, distraction, no problem. We'll remove all the music, and we'll just be doing the broadcast for short, because of the people who say, in fact, I started receiving letters from Nigeria where they are saying, Pastor, you shorten your period of the new something, that we are so grateful that it's only 30 minutes, because now we can watch from Nigeria with our data. Otherwise, it was costing us too much. But now, thank you for listening to us. Thank you for, doing what, for, shortening it and making it short. So we'll see you in 10 minutes. Blessings. Peace.